Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Shut Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of Project Architect 2, and today, actually going to make something here from Mega Cells that probably just got thrown into the system. Mega Cells, Inscriber Accumulation Press. So this is actually going to help us get the printed accumulation circuits. There's no way to mass produce these, right? Oh, there is. We just need lava. We need sky steel. Okay, let's do that. I don't think I really needed this, but I crafted it just in case. So that was... So what's the recipe for this? So we don't actually have a good source of lava. So that might be a problem here. So this needs to go into a reaction chamber down here. We actually don't have one that's not got water in it. So reaction chamber. So that there. And then we probably want to do some kind of pattern. Probably just normal. Make it flat. Okay, and we need to do that. So the only problem, of course, is the lava. We don't have a source of lava. We have a squeezer? I don't think we have anything like that. We do have the magma crucible, actually. So theoretically, this recipe should work. If we need lava. And it shouldn't take too long, because the magma crucible is a beast. And we should have plenty of liquid storage. Okay. So let's make sure that this is working. Auto export. And let's just see about sky steel. Okay, that actually worked. Perfect. So then from Sky Steel, we then want to bring this to Sky Steel blocks. And from there, we do the circuit slicer, which will be this circuit slicer. Where is my guitar? So this one goes there. This goes here. And sky, or is it, let's just look up mega cells. So I should just be able to do this. Oh, this actually got water in it. That's not going to work. Let's just disable the water. Actually, it's going to disable the power, too. And I made this really weirdly. Well, it's because I based it off of everything having water. So I know why I did it. It's just it's regretting it later. Okay. And then we just get... Can I do this? Can I do this? Okay, I cannot do that. Alright, let me clear it. Alright, I cleared it, and of course it immediately worked. So there's the mega cells, and then this is actually special too, which this one's fine, because we actually don't have redstone being automatically piped in. We only have silicone being automatically piped in, so we don't need this, we just need that. And that would work here. And if we just do, like, 64... that should start cruising. Perfect. Okay. Not a whole lot of randomness that we needed to do. And you're probably wondering, why in the world am I even worrying about this? Well, the only cell that we have that can hold polonium and plutonium is the Mega Radioactive Chemical Storage Cell. I don't think... I mean, I may be wrong. Let me just add that, because we do have the mechanist thing here, but these are chemical. And I'm thinking, since these aren't radioactive, this should not work. We're just going to go Mega. We're going to go for the radioactive. And that also means that we need to make this, which is why we made the accumulation processor. We need vibrant. Is this actually like a must for the radioactive? Hold on. So it must be vibrant. There we go. That should clear that up. So let's toss this in here. And we need a polonium pellet. Okay, we'll let everything else craft. Let's go to the mechanism area. Hey, quick interjection here. If you guys are enjoying the video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you leave a like and or subscribe, or even comment. Advice, feedback, questions, I would love to see it all. Alright, let's get back into the video. Polonium, which may be hindered because we're not currently in the sun. Actually, it is working. It sounds like it's working, at least. Okay. Radioactive storage cell. And back home. And then we should go put this downstairs inside of our storage cell. Or storage disk drive, ME drive. There we go. And that is only 256 bytes, by the way. This thing is tiny compared to the other cells, but that's what we're going to have to live with. The other thing that we're going to do while we're over here is actually make a quantum ring. Which I might just do something a little funny here. I'm probably going to just do this right under. Okay. And then we need ender pearl dust. I think this will work. TNT and a singularity. So let's go do this outside here. With TNT, turn off the magnet, drop that. And flint and steel. Okay. And we're just gonna do... let's just do mech area. Perfect. And we'll go and we'll put this in here. And off to the mechanism area. Alright, I've already got the actual thing placed down, by the way. It's actually already just sitting over here. But that should be able to start taking this, unless I need to go partition the other piece, because it looks like that is not working. Well, we can go partition it if we need to. Yes, because that is not working. So let's go to the workbench. Alright, cell workbench. And we're going to do polonium. That is partitioned. Okay. It is already working. So yeah, we just needed to force partition that, which I did not know that. So that is nice to know. And let's pop back over. So this thing is out of all of it. We have 153 buckets of this. I don't know if that's like the proper storage amount. I'm not sure. But that is a lot of polonium. And this thing has only been running for a handful of minutes. I actually just turned this on before starting recording and getting that quantum ring placed down. But it looks like the fissile fuel and the water and everything is going pretty decently. It looks like we have 1,024 polonium or plutonium and 242 polonium. Let's actually go and grab some functional storage drawers. Some upgrades, at least, for them. And that should keep us afloat for a while. So I'm kind of waiting on those to process a little bit more to then get to the SPS stuff, because that is going to require polonium and plutonium pellets. Hence why we actually did this before the polonium over here, because we need those. So we are just going to kind of have to wait for that to get done. And then once that's done, we will get the SPS chamber. And that should all be done this episode. All right, let's make the SPS chamber. So we're going to build this somewhat center. Probably not, though. Because, of course, we're in a 16 by 16 area. But this should hopefully work. And roughly what we're doing is 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, and that's going to be for all the sides at this point. Nope. Okay. And then again here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we just have the little sides here. And then we surround this with SPS casings. And then we just repeat here. We just offhand this and we can do that. And then just do side. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to repeat this on the last 3 sides, which is top, that side, this side, and I'll be back. All right. I have completed this, but of course now we need to do ports. And they have to be where the glass is or the face is, because this is actually side specific. What did I do wrong? Because you are not forming. So I have to have a minimum of 3 ports. I think I missed something somewhere. Did I miss like a piece of glass? Or is it because I'm missing the piece here, the super coil, the supercharged coil? That might be what I'm doing. Let me get in here. No? Not that? What could I possibly have done wrong? Alright, let me look. Okay, so apparently I can't put a port here. Nope, now I can put a port here. What? I'm so confused. I broke this port and replaced it, and the whole thing started functioning. I took out all the glass to make sure I placed all of it properly, but this is now working. So the one thing is, this requires a load of power. I think this thing actually estimates how much you use. So if we were to say we only have 2 ports, so the 3, so input and then 2 super phase, that's 400 million FE per millibucket. That's insane. Outright. So I don't think we'll be able to power this thing to its full extent, but we'll be able to do something. So input, output, and the output, of course, is going to be antimatter, so we're going to want a chemical tank. So this will be our buffer point. So we'll want to grab the tubes. And then the other thing, I actually don't know if I can do this, so I'm going to try this. Wireless connector. I want a set of these, because we're going to go try and see if we can set this up over here. So just there. And, of course, we're limited to the amount of channels we have, but we're only going to be using 1, realistically. Do I not have? I do have it right there. Perfect. Oop, I cleared the settings. My bad. Here we go. Then we run over here. Put this guy here. And we get an export. And we do polonium. And we probably want to grab acceleration cards. And some cable. That should fill up the polonium. Perfect. So now we just need to worry about power. So power, I actually want to look at the reactors from power. Not the generators, the actual reactors from power. I don't know how much we can really produce out of this. Generation factor, 1 million FE a tick. I guess that's base. But we do have the ability to get blue ice. We just actually haven't crafted it yet. So blue ice. And I think that's like the highest that we can go for coolants. Besides the dry ice, which is actually blue ice in an energizing thing. That would give us dry ice, which would give us 32C. That would make it more effective. And then coolants. I mean, realistically, we have the ability to do water. I don't know if any of this other stuff would really be that effective. So I want to grab the stuff for these generators. Or for these reactors. How many blocks do we need in total? I don't think it tells us. So let's just go through and do all of this. Okay. And then uranite, which is raw uranite, melted down. I don't really care about effectiveness. Not really. So furnace recipe. And we just go to netherite furnace. And we put the others into... So let's put the others in here. And let's just grab 64 of these guys. And I'll be back here in a minute. Alright, I've got some reactor pieces here. We're going to get that one set down. I've got enough for 3 of these. 4's in the works. I do love how these work. They're so cool. And this next one's is coming up. So, what we're going to do... I'm hoping I can squeeze another one in here. I'm actually under our current mechanism area power system, and I'm going to set up just like a handful of these generators or reactors, so that way we will have, hopefully, something. I'm hoping. Let's grab EMC link. Let's just do Mark 5. So we want that there. And I'm hoping I can squeeze this next generator set. Almost there. Let's grab blue ice. Set that guy there. Blue ice. Blue ice. And at pipes. Okay, so there's blue ice in those guys. And I'm pretty sure that this actually has the ability to do redstone and coal, right? Fuel consumption, efficiency. So I think I might also want to grab another Mark 5 for here and here to just do coal. Can I do coal blocks? These are EMCable, right? I can do coal blocks. Well, let's do coal blocks. And we'll just do that. Okay. So that should be good. Let's grab some pipes. Pipe upgrades. Perfect. Speed that up a little bit. And then we also, of course, need uranite. So raw uranite needs to be converted into uranite. So we do need kind of another EMC link or several of them. Which I think what I'll do is I will just do EMC link, raw uranite, iron furnace. Let's look up iron furnaces itself. Factory. Let's grab 3 more of these guys. And we'll just run this off of, let's say, my current network. Like the actual my network. And then on the bottom, let's clear that input, output, auto split. And I'm going to do that here. I'm going to do that here. And I'm going to do that here. So let me get those guys completed. I guess after we complete this, which is just going to be this. Perfect. That should start generating power, which is exactly what we want to see. And we are going to grab the flux plug. And this is actually going to be a new network, which is SPS network. If I can spell network. Right there. And I spelled it wrong on the first go. We'll make that green. And we're going to carry that over to all of these guys. And that should be good. Let's grab some Herculean storage pieces. Is Herculean the biggest? No, Gargantuan. Gargantuan is the biggest. We'll just set down 6 behind each. Okay. SPS network, bypass, all of that fun stuff. And then we're just going to shift right click and just paste across. Okay. So that should be good. Let me get the rest of these put down and get everything else cruising. I also forgot that we want to provide this with fluids. So let's go and do that. Which this should cool this down a little bit more. Pipes. And that should hopefully be better. So right now we're generating under 500,000. Which is not terrible. I think technically if we were to put redstone in this. So this actually increases the heat. So we're sitting at about 450. I mean, this thing's dropping. So hopefully it'll be better. Of course, if we did a better coolant for the ice here, we probably could get a little bit better results. But that should be okay. So it looks like we're about 1 million per, which should be good enough. Yeah, all the Herculeans are full. So let's go and do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually only going to put one of the superheat, the supercharged coils. I'm only going to activate one of these guys for right now. So SPS network. And that's just going to trickle charge, basically. Okay. And that has actually already gotten us 7 millibuckets of antimatter right off rip. So all of that power we stored actually did something for us. So this can actually be used to get us our first piece of fading matter, which we need the mechanism. What is this thing called? It's like a really weird name. Hold on, let's just look up antimatter. Here it is, right there. So this actually requires antimatter pellets and a chemical crystallizers. So we actually do need 2 of these. So we need 2,000 millibuckets of antimatter before we can actually do this. So that's just going to be me standing here, waiting for a while. Yeah. I would love if I didn't have to do that, but it looks like that's going to be our best bet. How are we doing down here? So these things actually have filled back up. So I'm kind of curious. Could I increase the generation rate by doing this? Let's do 1 million. And if I was to just go to the verge of insanity here and put down 1 more flux point under the SPS network at 1 million, are we okay with that? Because we right now should be producing at least 2 million. So actually, we're producing over 1 million, right? We're per 2, right? That's what I'm thinking, not per 1. So 600,000, that would be 1,100, 1,200-ish. So let's go upstairs real quick. And let's just bump this to 1,100. Or 1,100,000. Same thing there. 1,100,000. And we're just going to have to let this go. Sooner or later, of course, we'll run out of polonium, which is something that I know will happen. How much do we have right now? We have 533, and we are increasing every so often, but we'll probably decrease if we watch that. So that's fine. Everything else looks like it's still running. I'm kind of just checking the fissile fuel. So yeah, it's a waiting game to get antimatter at this point. I think we have everything in place to do it. We just have to wait for this to process, and that's going to take a while, especially because we don't have the biggest power generation. Yeah, we definitely don't. Not at all. But this should do us just fine. So, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I hope this was an enjoyable episode. I know I had fun. Of course, the SPS Chamber is one of those things that I always despise tackling because of the fact that it requires so much power, and it requires, you know, just getting the polonium and a decent supply of it. Of course, we now have an independent reactor that's solely producing polonium and nothing else. So hopefully that'll get us somewhere. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome. And again, we see you in the next one. Bye-bye.